Hold on. Hold on. So this is what's going on.
Perfect.
Can you see? Good. Can you see yourself?
I can see myself.
Okay, I wanted.
The audio is
perfect. Can you see? Can you see yourself?
I can see myself.
Okay, I wanted.
All right, I took it up.
Okay, I'm taking it.
It's fine.
Okay,
that means
hold
this
on.
laptop has to be somewhere here. Hello, welcome. Harry Akinola here. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so glad to have you. We are about to start here in Houston. So if you are joining now, please just join and remain there. As you can imagine, we're waiting for the audience in Houston to be, to be in the room before we kick off. So just hang in there. You're gonna benefit. You're gonna enjoy this session. So please just give us a few minutes to get the audience together here, and then we can kick off formally. But thank you so much. Drop your chat. I'm going to from time to time, check on the link here to see if you've got any questions. So if you do have any question, let me know, and I'll see it right on my phone. So if you have joined, and just drop a comment quickly. Anybody dropping a comment? I can't see your comments yet. Let me see. All right. I mean, you don't have to do it now. So if you have a comment to drop, please drop your comments, and then we'll see. But please, let's just stay there a few more minutes to have the audience in Houston stick together. I know it's 4 p.m. in Nigeria. It is 5 p.m. in South Africa. It is 6 p.m. in Tanzania. Wherever you are in the world, please just hang in there. We will kick off shortly. Thank you very much. All right, Anthony, we are there. We are live. Thanks everyone for joining. Please just confirm that you can hear very clearly. I'm also telling the Telegram group that we are live. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm Harry Akinola. You know me already. But before we start fully, I'll just like to play a video and then we will take it from there. I attended the shift office conference after having Akinola, and I really learned a lot. And so, in my perspective, in my personal story, is that I'm a recent graduate, and so coming back, I had a lot of things that I've been doing. I'm a student, I studied one thing, but then I'm passionate about another thing, and so I had a lot of different things that I was trying to do all at once. And there was this particular vision to me was that I need to focus myself on one thing and I relax, make sure I build that, I develop that, and when it's stable, when it's safe, I work on other things because I've been trying to do everything all at once, and so I end up being basic at so many things, and I'm not doing, and I'm trying to spread myself thin instead of actually focusing and doing one thing. And so I really learned a lot about that and a lot about, the things, the three things that you need to fight against, the distractions and everything that I need to stop doing. And yeah, so I'm really inspired. I'm ready to go out and learn, ready to go out and use my skills and really figure out all my strengths and really capitalize on that. And so I'm really glad to be here. And yeah. All right. Thank you. Just so that I don't have to say a lot. You saw that of the video. We're kicking off now. And let me just remind you that it's not a conference. It is a masterclass. So we will be having a lot of activities just to make sure that we learn the concept. I'll take it a little easy. So it's not the speaking kind of engagement. It's a transformational engagement. And if you've ever been part of any of the shift programs before, you know that we are focused on that, on the kind of learning. Just a bit about myself quickly. So I'm essentially three things. I'm a coach, I'm a leadership development and health development expert, I'm a minister. Before now, I used to just skip the minister part of it because I don't want to offend people, but I realized that you are what you are and what I am, and it's just okay for me to share exactly who I am. Executive coaching is what I really do. That is how we support people. That's how we help people grow. It's about helping people become better and live excellent lives by recognizing, capitalizing, and that in the middle there is, of course, maximizing and capitalizing on their best strengths. Then org development and leadership development is essentially about helping people and organizations grow their capabilities and thrive and also meet their business requirements. And the third one is the fact that I'm a minister and I try to simplify complex theological jargons and principles in a way that everyone can understand, not something very complicated. And the simplicity for me aligns to how you can use it for your day-to-day life, living, how you can use it in the marketplace. I'm very focused on the marketplace and how people win in the marketplace, especially in the corporates. I help a lot of entrepreneurs, but I've realized that I help a lot of people work in the setting of the corporates more than entrepreneurs. Maybe because I work in the setting of the corporates as well, but just maybe because that's one of my passions, is to see people grow. And I have grown. I have grown from, whatever level you can imagine the corporates. I think the worst will be working in Nigeria as a contract staff. Have you ever seen anybody working in Nigeria as a contract staff? that's like slavery at another level. Honestly, it's contract outside of Nigeria is great. In Nigeria, contract job means that you're probably, working and they are paying you sometimes 10% of what someone who has a full-time job is doing. And I've done all that, of course, moving to the hierarchy, and I'm at an executive level. It's been a journey. And I want to share with you today part of that journey. But for me, please, I want you to take your mind off making money for once. There's a lot of things out there about how to make money, how to become a millionaire, and all that. This is not what this is all about. Will you be able to make money if you gain self-mastery? Yes. But that is not what this is all about. This is about fulfillment. This is about having a well-aligned and integrated life. I don't have the kind of money I want to have yet, right? But I have a lot of friends that are very wealthy financially, but depend on me for a lot of other things in their lives. And if it's any consolation, you heard of what happened to Bill Gates a few months ago, right?
Yes.
I mean, that's like weird. I thought with money you can buy happiness. With money you can buy anything, but that's a reality. So money is not everything. So let's not think about this as another success program that will fetch you money. Will you gain money? Will you gain profits as a result of this program? Indeed, you will. But that's not what we're focused on. We're focused more on you living to the fullest. And I'll be speaking from experience. I will not be sharing things that I just read. I read a lot, but these are things that I've practiced over the years. These are things I've seen, and we had a lot of values to us. But quickly, let's start. So many years ago, if I remember correctly, I was transferred from Nigeria to work in Namibia. Namibia is in Southern Africa, very close to South Africa. Actually, I say Namibia is a junior South Africa in a way. And when I returned to Nigeria, I had two opportunities. One of them was to get back to my learning and development job. I was in charge of the retail banking. If you know a bank called Stanbic IBTC Nigeria, I was in charge of the retail learning and development. It's called personal and business banking. And I'd moved to Namibia to head the learning and development function on a project, very heavy project at that time, worth about 360 million USD. And I had just finished and I came back to Nigeria. And I had the privilege of getting back to my learning and development job, or to become a regional personal banker. Now, if you've ever worked in the banking, industry before, or any financial industry for that matter, or in fact, any organization for that matter, the people in the core business, they earn more than the people in HR. Yeah, if you look at it, because in the business is a profit center, the HR is essentially a cost center. You're not really generating funds for the organization. So the guys that sell more make more. You might earn the same salary, but they earn more bonus than you, clearly. So I was asked to either go back to the business side or choose go back to my job in HR, the learning and development job. Then I called one of my mentors, who was then one of our leaders in the organization. I asked her, I said, Biola, this is the situation. And Biola asked me one question. She said, Harry, do you want to pursue passion or profit? I remember I was traveling by road from the city of Lagos to Ibadan at the time to speak at a conference. I was actually speaking for the government of Oyo State. So it was a short trip, but very long because of the traffic. And I thought about it. It was like passion or profit. Then I chose passion. I decided to pursue learning and development at the expense of making more money in the business side. And why did I do that? It's because I really, really wanted to live a fulfilled life. So the question I'm going to ask you before I move on, and I'm going to interpret it, to ask you purpose, passion, or profit. And I'm not asking you to answer the question yet. Just think about it. Because maybe where you are right now in your life, what you want is profit. You don't even care about passion. And I know people that are there right now. Yes, I can do with more money, right? I have projects I'm looking forward to. So if you give me more money, I'll be happy, right? But I went further to actually think about the definition of the three. This was my thoughts and my conversation with myself along that trip from Lagos then to Ibadan. And then purpose is the reason I was created, right? That's what purpose is, right? You agree? The purpose of the thing is the reason the thing has been created, right? Passion, a feeling of intense enthusiasm towards or compelling desire for something, for someone or something. So I just love. So when she said passion, it was because I loved learning. I loved imparting knowledge. I'm talking about many years ago now, right? I love what I'm doing. And the third part is profit, financial advantage or benefit. And honestly speaking, coming back from Namibia to Nigeria at the time, I wanted that financial benefit, right? But I made a decision out of the street to choose one. And I decided, honestly, it was the longest trip ever, because the then global head of Nigeria, national head of personal banking was asking me, I need to sign the offer. Tell me yes, and I sign it now. The other job was, you just came back, you need to sign up, or you just tell us you don't want, and then we give it to someone else. So I had to make my decision on that trip. So that's purpose, passion, profit. Purpose, passion, profit. So I decided to go with passion. And I felt stupid. But over the years, I realized that I did not really go with passion. I went with purpose-driven and profitable passion. Because I can tell you now that all the guys that took the job, none of them earn half of what I earn right now. And this is not bragging. This is simply because I have moved, because I pursue my passion. I pursued my passion. I am like fish in water. So it's easy for me to grow. Learning and development for me is not what I'm trying to do. It is what I do. And I'm going to tell you another story. So I tell a lot of stories. I'll tell you the story of my alignment. Because after a while, I also realized that my whole life is aligned. So every day when I wake up and go to what people call 9 to 5, that is for me every time of every moment of my life. It's not 9 to 5. I think about impacting knowledge. That is what I do for Puma Energy in a nutshell. Every time I take on the pulpit to speak, I think about impacting knowledge. Every time I engage with people in coaching, I think about impacting knowledge. So essentially, I've pursued passion. I do only one thing, and that thing is imparting knowledge on people, essentially helping people to become better by recognizing, maximizing, and capitalizing on their best strengths. So my first question to you today, again, back to the question, right? Purpose, passion, or profit? And maybe it's a rhetorical question, and not something you need to answer, but think about it. So where are you right now? Where are you right now? What space are you in right now? You don't, sorry, go ahead. Profits. Profits. Okay, let's go. We are not very many. So you can put it in the chat if you want to participate in these online. So where are you right now? It's okay, you can be anywhere. Passion. 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 So why don't you just stick with me? I think also some of the problem in life is, and I'll tell you where the issue is. She asked me a question. She asked me to choose between purpose, between passion, and profit. Maybe you don't have to choose. Do you get where I'm coming from, right? Maybe you can have everything. Because I think the lie they've told us is you need to pursue your passion and you'll be fine. Then some people have told us that you need to you need to just chase after profit and you'll be fine. Maybe there's no rule to life in that way. And where I want you to focus on today is just think about it from this point of view. That it is neither about passion nor profit. It's actually about you and what you want from life. Do you know that a lot of the principles we hold on to today, they are from, ancient China or Japan, and we use them, and I'm going to share one of them at the end of the session, towards the end of the session, and then we speak of them in terms of, oh no, we use them to make money. Do you know that oftentimes when those things are referred to, they are referred to in the context of fulfillment? And people that chase passion, let me tell you something, sorry, profits. Let me tell you something about that. Have you realized that a lot of the people that hustle for money never make a lot of money? As a matter of fact, the very wealthy people did not often set out to be wealthy. If you hear that story, they'll tell you along the line, while doing, Jeff Bezos, right? The guy was just selling books. He was just selling books. That's what he was just doing. Mark Zuckerberg did not set out to turn Facebook to a profit-making machine. So the point is, how do you shape your life in a way that you achieve fulfillment, but you also then achieve the byproduct, which is profit? And it's a conversation of commerciality. That's a different conversation on another day. But that's not where I'm going to, so we're going to go forward. So I tell people that to attain self-mastery, you need to ensure alignment and control of the key factors in your life. You need to ensure alignment and control of the key factors in your life. Let me take a break to tell you about some housekeeping quickly. Now, by the way, you have your workbook here. If you don't have a book, there's actually a space in the workbook to make notes if you want to. There's a pen for you there. The bathroom is right behind the screen. So if you want to use the bathroom, please just feel free to use the bathroom from there. And please feel free to stop me at any point in time to ask me questions. It is a classroom. Yeah, go ahead.
So you said
no, please sit down. Feel free. Yeah.
So I heard you say passion and profitable passion.
Yes.
So please, my question is, in your perspective, on your definition, how would you define profitable passion, and how does it differ from, let's say, ordinary passion? Good.
You are asking a very good question, but can I ask you to just hold it? And then we will actually unpack it later. Let me give you an example. Just because you've asked now. Anyone can share your passion here with me. Just something you're passionate about. Anybody?
About community.
Community. How can you make money from supporting a community?
Fundraising.
Fundraising. Is that money for you? That's the point. There's a science behind it, or maybe an art or whatever it is. I'll show you later. But see, the problem is following your passion does not get you rich. It doesn't get you rich.
Like just profit.
Right? You will, if you now see that's the irony of all these things, right? So when they tell you, oh, my passion is singing, how many people can sing but they are broke? I know a lot of them. A lot of them. Right? So following your passion does not get you rich. What gets you rich is having commercial skills. Am I right? Is understanding how to make money and how to manage money. How to make, manage, and also perhaps share it, right? That's what will help you. It's about investment, right? That's what it's commerciality. So if you can be passionate about something, you can be the best at doing something and yet be the brokest at doing it. Being passionate about something does not guarantee that you make money from it. However, there is another type of mindset you can have that helps you look at passion, but from a purpose-driven point of view, and think about it in a way that can land you in making profits. And that's what we're going to talk about today, by the way. But we're focused more on self-mastery. Self-mastery, think about it as the foundation. It's about you being the CEO of your life. And every time I say that, some people say, oh no, but God is the CEO of my life. God is not the CEO of your life. The chief executive officer of an organization runs the organization, right? Let's say it's the managing director. Every managing director reports to a board. God is the board, if you believe in God. You are the CEO. And until you get in the driver's seat of your life will never make the right progress. I tell people something. Think about life as a car, your life as a car. And that's why I do not call myself a motivational speaker, even though I motivate sometimes. But think about your life as a car. And every time you listen to a motivational speaker, you get the goose pimples, right? Right? But let's say the motivational speakers are outside of your car because they're not in your life.
Yeah.
If you are moving at the pace of the motivational speaker, you will only move as fast as the motivational speaker moves. But if you get in the driver's seat of your life, that car can fulfill its destiny of 160 miles an hour, or even I think there's a car that's 230 miles an hour, right? Those cars that have several transmissions. But you will not fulfill your full value if you don't get in the driver's seat of your life. So self-mastery is about getting in the driver's seat of your life. And can I tell you the honest truth? A lot of us live the life of other people. I've met a lot of people. Even when you think you're living your own life, you're living the life of your organization. You're living the life of this is tough, but that is real, of your spouses. You're living the life of your parents. And until you get in the driver's seat. So you will never leave the ownership. So essentially, self-mastery is about taking ownership of your life. I tell people on the plane, when you're flying, they tell you that in case there's a sudden reduction or change in pressure, an oxygen mask will drop from the cabin above your head. Pull sharply. The action of pulling will release the flow of oxygen. Sorry, I fly too much. Release the flow of oxygen. But they tell you, they give you a caveat. Fix your own mask first before doing what? Assisting someone else. So even if you have your child, you need to fix your mask before you help your child, because it's only the living that can help someone else live. So you will have to take the responsibility for your living first before you can help someone else. So self-mastery is about taking ownership of your life. Profit, we'll talk about profits towards the end. Passion, we'll talk about it, but passion does not always generate profit. But you know what? Purpose on the other side. And that's why I use the phrase purpose driven. Purpose on the other side is what you have been created to do. And if you believe that you've been created to live a fulfilled, profitable life, it means that your fulfillment, your profit, your excitement, everything you will enjoy in life is embedded in your purpose. Welcome. So it's important that If you understand purpose and you live in line with God's purpose for your life, it means that passion, profit will not be a problem. But the problem is we often forget purpose, we pursue profit and passion, and we keep running in different directions. I can tell you now that everyone thinking about purpose, there are too many things you want to do, and there's none of them you are finishing. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hand because we are few in here, but there are too many things in your head. You can make money from here, make money from there, make money from there, but you are not finishing any of them simply because you're pursuing profit. But we get that's what we're saying. So, to attain self-mastery, you need to ensure alignment and control of the key factors in your life. Now, there's a model I built that we're going to talk through for the rest of today, and it's the ACE model: awareness, capability, and expression. So if you really want to arrive at that purpose-driven, profitable passion, or you want to arrive at that self-mastery, you need to work that journey to the preferred future. So if you're not going to work that journey, then you're not ready to actually achieve what you want to achieve. What happens a lot of times is people that pursue profits, they start from, can I jump? They start from here, expression. And I'll show you shortly. You know why? Because, let me ask everybody. Just, please, I hope you can still hear me. I'm going to come to that side very soon. I feel very restricted. Now let me ask you a question. If you want to make money, what comes to mind? What question comes to mind? What will you do? Service. But you've jumped 2 major steps ahead. So a lot of people are operating here, but the foundations are not there. No matter how much you make here, if you have solid foundations there, you'll probably keep making it. Even if it's not so much. Let me give you a question. How many people Steve Jobs, right? Before he passed. Remember he was fired from Apple? Yes. Was he asked to come back?
Yes, he was. Yes.
He was asked to come back because the dude was highly capable and he knew himself. He wasn't the best of guys. He wasn't good with people, you know. And he knew he wasn't good with people. In fact, that was one of the reasons he was fired in the first place. He wasn't good with people, so he was aware. So awareness is not, and I'm going to go deeper into it shortly, it's not because you're not perfect, but you know yourself. The problem we have these days is that we want to express, but you're not solid yet. You're not solid yet. You're not capable. So people that they fire oftentimes often find, you know, some people there are some people, especially the very capable IT people. I'm in HR, so I call them the most arrogant people these days. They're very arrogant because they know they will always get a job. Very arrogant people. They're capable, all right? But you know, if you find someone that is not capable, you will never, in fact, you will move to expression, try your hands on too many things, you keep losing money because you are not capable. So I'm asking you to give yourself a permission, even if you are highly self-aware and then you're highly capable. So, yeah, thank you. Even if you are very self-aware and you're highly capable, I want you to give yourself a permission to take a few steps back and let's go back to that journey. Can we do that? Good. All right, so let's start with the first one. But before we go there, if you check your workbooks, it's not numbered, but it's right there. I created a canvas for you. And if you're online, I sent an email already to you. It has the canvas in the email I sent to you, so please check that out. So the canvas is right here, the ACE canvas, right here, I hope. We're going to be using it a lot, and the reason I wanted you to use that is because I want you to really. It's a classroom. It's not really a conference where we're just talking. So we'll be doing a lot. So I developed the ACE just to give you that flow: awareness, capabilities, and expressions. Right? A really stands for self-awareness. Self-awareness, and that means knowing yourself. Let me throw a question to you. Do you know yourself? It's a rhetorical question you need to answer. Do you know that knowing yourself requires a very high level of intentionality? There are two eyes there. It is being intentional and high level of introspection. A lot of times we think we know ourselves, we don't. And knowing yourself, so there's a solution called the organ profiling. So an organ has like 3 major tests. They have the HDI, which is the Derailleur one. They have the HPI, which is the organ personality inventory. Now, organ personality inventory presupposes that the knowledge of yourself is not sufficient. That is identity. There's also reputation. So a lot of times when you want to think about your strength, think about it in the context of what do I know about myself and what do people say about me? But essentially, awareness has 3 major parts. I mean, there are different things you can know about awareness. It's just, there are three major things you should be aware of about yourself. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your beliefs, and your values. I think they need my attention just a minute. Oh, it's honestly. Yes. Sorry about that. Okay. So, 3 major things you need to know: your strengths, your weaknesses, beliefs, and values. And we're going to do some activities very soon. But let me ask you, how many of you know your strengths? You're very sure. Not the one you wrote on your CV many years ago. You know those ones on CV, forget them. Okay, what's yours? One strength.
Attention to detail.
Attention to details, great. Okay, we'll test it now, right? You want us to test it? Good. You want to try?
I don't know how to define it, but just the ability of empathy.
Empathy. Okay.
My ability to understand people.
Understand people. Oh, you did originally.
No,
Okay. I thought you did. Okay. So we'll talk about weaknesses because people are often, sensitive about that one. That's okay. Beliefs and values. If I ask you what you really believe in, you tell me different things. But let's leave that aside. Let's move on. Okay. I want to bust your bubble a little bit. So there's a man called Marcus Buckingham, and he looked at strength in a different way, completely different way. I've been following Marcus Buckingham for the last 13, 12 years. I've checked his work, I've tested his work, I've taken his assessment he's not the owner of the assessment. The Strength Finder 2.0 actually belonged to Gallup Consulting, if you know Gallup. But I've taken Strength Finder 3 times, and the result has been the same thing 3 times over the years. Because I do a lot of assessment just because I want to test and be sure that these things are real. So Marcus defined strength as that on the screen. A strength is an activity that strengthens you. So it's not a word. It's an activity that strengthens you. How do you know something is a strength? It draws you in. It makes time fly by while you are doing it. And it makes you feel strong. It draws you in. Time just flies by while you're doing it. And it makes you feel strong. Then he said something quite interesting. He said, your strength is not something you are good at. Because there's a lot of things you are good at that you hate to do because they suck energy out of you. So the problem is, if you're going to get to that journey, purpose-driven, you need to find that thing that when you commit to it, you do it till the end, regardless of what is happening around you. For me, let me ask you, what's my strength? You probably can tell me right away. Speaking. Coaching. I'm in my element, and ask my wife, on a day of coaching, I'm on the edge. You don't want it. My angina is pumping freely. Do you know that I've tested it I've spoken for many years, now upward of 20 years, 21 years. Every time I've been sick, right? But anytime I stand to speak, I am excellent. Now I can be sick later. But right when I'm speaking, that is it. Now, your strength is that thing. So you need to think about your strength in terms of the energy you feel before, during, and after you've done that. Let me ask you a question. How many of you run a business and you know that this business you run, you need to do marketing? But marketing sucks the energy out of you. You don't like it, you hate it. That's part of saying, amen. Right, not in church. But the reality is, when I tell people, let me jump the gun here before I go into the sound. I tell people, they tell you, find the job you love and do it. Again, passion. But see, the reality of life is, not many of us find the job that we love. And can I even bust your bubble? There is no job you love and there's no job you hate. What you really don't love about a job are certain activities in that job. Based on what you know about that job, you conclude that you don't love the job. A lot of people, the jobs you think you don't love, when you have the opportunity to do it, you actually love it. Because when the activities, let's say you have 10 activities in a job, and then you love 7 out of the 10 activities, the chance that you can live through the remaining 3 is very high, right? The problem is we just generalize, but the things we don't love about jobs are not the jobs themselves, is actually the activity. Somebody says, I don't like the sight of blood, so therefore I don't want to be a medical doctor. But don't we know that a lot of medical doctors have not seen blood for many years? So it's not true. It's because they've looked at it in terms of what they can do and not what draws them in. So how do you find your strength? We're talking about awareness. How do you find your strength? You look at the sign. Number 1, success. Success. Strengths are where you feel successful. The things you do that make you feel successful. The second one is instinct. If you are naturally drawn to it, if you instinctively look forward to doing it, is a sign of a strength. Then the growth, the G part. G is growth, where you learn the most, where you come up with the most new ideas. That's your strength. Then need, of course. If you feel a need has been met, either your need or the need of people around you, then it's a strength. So it is sign, success, instinct, growth, and need. So a lot of times, people get confused because you're doing things you are able to do, but you hate that thing with a passion. It is not a strength. Which means you can have a strength in an area that you don't have ability yet. Because if it's a strength, you can easily grow the ability to do it well. Let me ask you a question. Do you know that? Maybe a comment, a question. Or maybe a question. And I was asking you yesterday. Growing up, you will hear people say, this child is not good in mathematics, we're going to get him a maths teacher. Anybody experienced that before? Yeah. Now, how many children that were not good in mathematics started scoring 100% after they got them maths teacher? Thank you. You know why? It's because you grow more in the area of your strengths. No matter what I do to you in the area of your weakness, you will not grow as much as you will grow in the area of your strengths. You know why? Because your strengths draws you in naturally. It releases your passion without stress. It releases your energy. All the hormones that help you learn and creative, they come alive when you see the activity you love. But the ones you don't love, they die naturally. So that's the point. So the point is, you should be more focused on activities that get you, that help you. Sorry, I see that sometimes I cut my face away from the guys online, so let me put it here. All right. Sign, success, instinct, growth, need. So take a break. Get back to your canvas now. Think about those things, those activities now that are your strength. Can you write out a few of them in the canvas, on the canvas? I told you it's a classroom. It's not And please, if you have any questions, feel free to say them. You see, they're probably changing now. You probably won't use the word empathy anymore. You probably use, I like driving, or I like talking. And while you are at it, I probably can share one with you. People assume that talking is my strength. It's actually not my strength. Teaching is my strength. So the fact that there's a big theme doesn't mean the big theme represents you fully. There could be sub-themes that you didn't know of. So speaking, teaching is my strength. So one of the things that follow that talking I don't like is staying on a panel. You know, when you got people on a panel and you interview them, it makes me feel weak. And you know why? Because there's always something I want to say, but there's always this wicked moderator who doesn't allow you to finish. You know, as I was saying, thank you so much. Our time is not done. I've just released it. So I don't feel strong. So I don't like it. I do it if I have to do it, but I don't really. If I have the option of not doing it, I will do it. There was a time I attended a session where someone was on a panel and was speaking. At a point, he actually stood up because not many people speak better when they sit down. He stood up. I speak better when I stand up as well. So actually, when I'm on, if you force me to go on Zoom training now and I have to sit down, I do it, but half of the time I'm raising my back because the energy is kind of pumping me up. You just need to know your strength and then strength. So let me ask you a question before you. Have you written your strength? Oh, I stopped you. Okay, sorry. I'm very excited. So what is that strength? You don't have to get it right. I'll teach you how to look out for it in terms of coaching, how to look out for it. Thanks everyone online. So if you're doing the activity, you're listening, you need to list your strengths. And remember, your strengths are any activity that makes you feel strong. They draw you in. They make you feel strong before, during, and after you've done them. And you need to look for your sign. Success, any activity that gets you successful easily. Instinct, what you look forward to doing instinctively. Growth, you easily grow at it. You're very creative at it. And finally, need. It meets a need of yours or someone else's need. Okay? Just write one or two. That is fine. Great. Now, you shared your strength before, right?
Yes.
What was your strength before?
Attention to
Details. Okay, that's good. What is your strength now?
what I found.
What did you write? No, not the value list. Did you do the exercise based on this? Oh,
Based
no.
on that.
No. There's no page on the canvas, yes.
Oh,
Canvas should be the next page. Okay. You said before empathy, right? You said empathy. What did you write now?
More so towards helping less privileged.
See, it's changing. Because they taught us that we should actually look for the words. Sorry, you said yours, that's true. What's yours, that one?
No, it's counseling.
And if you think about it, right, let me preempt myself. Your money spinner is actually there. Your money spinner is there. Because it means that when you are doing it, and when you start a business in line with your strength, and you're not making money initially, you're not tired. You do it regardless. And we all know that the more you commit to something you love and you continue to do it, the more the chances of you making money eventually. My wife is here. The reason I'm very excited is our first group in Port Harcourt of this session was her and the cameraman. Yeah, and after we did it few more months, the first program we had 1,300 people, Hotel Presidential, and that was 2009. So when I start something, I am not bothered because I know it will grow. Why? I'm in the area of my strength. Albert was here yesterday, told you the biggest class we had in South Africa was 18. But every of our conferences we run in hundreds. When we started with like 18 people, and it was 18 people simply because we were pastoring a church. So some of them felt ashamed that pastor was having a program and they wouldn't have to come. So they came. They didn't really like what we were doing, but they showed up. But eventually when they saw the value, and because my tenacity did not come from me struggling, my tenacity came from the place of strength. I continued regardless. Over time, people will see the value. And if you understand the commercial aspect of it, you can turn that strength into money. That's why I said that journey. Let's go back to awareness. All right, we move forward because of time. Let's go to weakness or weaknesses. It's just the reverse side of the strength. Any activity that makes you feel weak is a weakness. And even if you're good at it, it is still a weakness. Anybody has someone you're really good at but you don't like to do? You don't enjoy doing it. Anything? Anybody?
Public speaking.
Public speaking be a weakness. You can do it if you have to, but it's not something you really love to do. And I can tell you there are a lot of executives who do it just because they have to do it. We were having that conversation yesterday, but they don't really love to do it. Whereas there are some of us, even if there's nothing about the program that says someone must stand and speak, if they ask us to create the program, we put it in because somebody has to stand and speak. And that person has to be us. Before now, I used to be shy, because you say you like the spotlight, people will say, oh, no, that's not good. You should be. I love the spotlight. If you invite me to a place and there's no spotlight, you haven't invited me. I'm just telling you. I'm like, not like I cannot be humble and sit down, but I want to be seen. Thank you. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think the problem they told us is they've created weaknesses as things, strength as words, and if you now stay on one side, there's something wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with you. Sorry, go ahead.
But that's an area of strength. It's public
Public
speaking.
speaking.
Because that's something I have to do.
That's what I have. Well, not just I have to do it, I love doing it as well. There are things about public speaking I don't like that. My coach knows that I don't, like I said, I don't like panel. Let me give you an example. I'm the type that before I went to university, I did a bit of A level and IGMB, if you know IGMB. During my IGMB days, I'm the type that will start speaking and people will start gathering. I didn't invite anybody. People just start gathering. Just there, charisma, exactly. But you see, sometimes also, the organ profiling tools, the HDI states that actually, that is also your potential flaw. Because it's something I can overdo as well. So sometimes I've been told that you are talking too much now. Somebody will nudge me, and then I'll respect myself. So those are some of the possibilities as well. But weakness is anything that weakens you. It impairs your ability to be better. And there's no reason why you should continue to do that. All right, time, let's go on. Let's go to values and beliefs. Any question? Making sense? All right. Any question, thoughts, comments? Let's go to values quickly. And I'm going to show you this picture on the screen. And if you're online, I'm sure you're struggling with seeing that because it's bright. But I'll probably share with you some of the slides later. What you have on the screen is called the NLP communication model. It's called the Neuro-Linguistic Programming Communication Model. I didn't read all my credentials at the beginning, but I'm also a neuro-linguistic programming practitioner and certified coach. I don't do more into that because some of the practices conflict with my beliefs, so I don't go fully into that. But I love it because it talks about your brain, how you're wired, and how, as a result of that, you operate in this life. Now, the NLP communication model shows that every one of us are seated here. We have certain things in our minds called filters. And our filters do three things. They generalize, they distort, or they delete. So as a matter of fact, when people tell you, change your mind and change your life, what they are saying in essence is, do something about your filters. Because over the years, we have
acquired certain things. We have gathered certain thoughts. We have gathered certain beliefs, and they inform what we do. And it's even very interesting because the older you become, the more you gather these things. And some of them are so entrenched and ingrained in our lives that they shape our realities, which is why it's important to take a step back to know those things. Very soon I'm going to step into self-sabotage, and I'm preempting myself, and I will tell you why I'm stepping there. Because oftentimes self-sabotage is a function of limiting beliefs, and beliefs are part of our filters. So if you look at the mind's brain there, you see that it has attitudes, value and beliefs, decisions, memory and language, and all these things inform everything that we do. So let me give you an example. If I tell you right now, I have $100 million. What do you think?
$100 million.
$100 million.
I'll start thinking, but it depends on my belief. To be honest, my belief said no.
Thank you.
To be honest.
To be honest, no. What do you think?
For me, I'll just begin to think about business.
$100 million.
If I believe you, and you're like, oh, that's cool, I like that.
I'm going to ask everybody to get ready. $100 million.
He's living a stress-free life.
$100 million. You don't know. Let me ask my wife. Maybe she watch and say, really? And you have not given me? What comes to mind?
I would ask how you made it.
All right. Thank you very much. At least we don't have anyone in this room who says, sorry. Forget it. It's not possible. Do you know that I have asked the same question in class before? Where I said $1 billion. And someone repeatedly told me in the class, did you mean 1 million naira? I said I kept saying $1 billion. He said, did you say 1 million? His mind couldn't just say it. So his filters distorted the message completely. Some filters will delete the message. So at the end of the day, we asked, did he say 100 billion? So did he mention money? Because his mind just deleted because it's not for people like me. Some people will actually say $1 million, but because of what they're targeting in life, you start seeing a bigger number of money. Now, where I'm going to is, whether you like it or not, whether you believe or not, everyone here, you are seated here because of what you believe. Simple. The amount in your bank account is a function of your filters. Currently, the businesses you do, the level at which you operate, all functions of your belief. There's only one way you can change the realities, by changing your filters. How can you change what you don't know? That is why I say the foundation is awareness. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that, let's take Warren Buffett for example. The man is one of the wealthiest in the world. Do you think that he gets scared when you mentioned $1 billion? I heard a story. I'll tell you, true life story, directly from the mouth of the person that I'm going to talk about, Dangote. I watched a video where he said it. He said when he started making money, he said it's with this Angolan, Mohammed something, Angolan, one of the richest men in Africa. So when he started making a lot of money, he went to the bank and withdrew 10 million US dollars. You heard the story.
I've seen the video.
You see the video. He said it himself and put the money in his boot just to see it. You know, a lot of us cannot fathom that. 10 million. Sorry,
So that's the question.
Exactly.
The question is, thank God that you referenced that story.
Mm-hmm.
For me, if someone come and say, oh, I have 100 million in assets,
Mm-hmm.
like you have these here, I will believe you.
Exactly.
But if you say you have $100 million in cash, I might die.
Did you just
Without you.
Did you just notice that your mind distorted the message?
Yes.
Did you notice I didn't say cash or assets?
Yes. Yes.
Your mind was interpreting.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it was interpreted into cash. It said
Yeah.
$100 million.
Exactly.
So you didn't asset or so people like Dangote as well. He even said, okay, that cash. I mean, for me, it's just like, wow, how can you withdraw all that money? Where will you put it in your boot or where? I mean, it's unbelievable. But I mean, saying all that just for him to see, like, I actually have cash, not just assets, something I can see.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's interesting. It's another perspective.
It's a totally different perspective. And which is why a lot of times, I remember when I wrote my first financial target of $1,000. I mean, it's nothing to the people here right now. But when I wrote that first target, I probably have never seen US dollars before in my life at the time I wrote it. Right. But the moment I went through a session like this, and I realized that it was possible, you cross the milestone automatically. Something in your mind will change. And I know we're talking about money, but we're talking about, well, we're talking about awareness, to know where you're at. Because a lot of times, a lot of us want to achieve great success, but you don't even know where you are. You want $10 million, but you don't even know where you really are. And it's not where you are in your pocket. It is where you are in your mind. Do you know that where you are in your pockets can be higher than where you are in your mind? African politicians. The man has 50 billion naira, but he's stealing 1 million naira. Have you noticed that they just steal it? You don't understand. I'll give you an example. The story I'll tell you a lot of stories, real life stories. So the time I told you when I moved from, I was going to make that decision about purpose and passion and profit. I went for a session in Ibadan where the government session was free. I was speaking for free. The commissioner, I won't mention because this can be traced back. The commissioner at the time then gave me some money because I did it for free. So he gave me some money to say, oh, for your fuel and everything from Lagos to Ibadan. And I was so happy and I thanked him because it was small money. And they gave me a frame. We had a frame for a long time. After 2 days, the commissioner called me. I'm like, did you get the money I gave you? Well, I said, yes, thank you very much, sir. I mean, you didn't have to do that. He now said, please, can you tell me how much got to you? So I told him, I'm like, what? I gave you much more than that. The moment he said that, I don't really remember people's faces. I'm not good with faces. I remember the man's face that gave me the money. I'm like, this old man is a thief. But you see, how much are we talking about? I'm not going to say the amount, but his salary is way more than that. But you see, if there's a conflict between your mind and your pocket, imagine the conflict between your mind and your future. So it's important that anything you want to shift, even if it's financial, whatever it is, that the filter is taken care of. So you must understand what you value and what you believe. If I ask you what you value now, anybody wants to say what you really value? One word. Family, respect. Life, respect. Purpose. Why don't we put that to a test? When Shift Masterclass, it's always practical. So, get into your workbooks. Right before you see the list of values that I've curated it. Oh, maybe yes. Oh, thank you very much. Can you see that? What I want you to do, and if you're online, you can just follow us here. I should have sent you the list of values as well, but we can share this with you later. Okay? Now, what I want you to do is, why don't you tick, don't rush. We've got time to do it. I want you to tick your 5 topmost values. Read everything as much as possible. Can I be honest with you? It will jump at you. Don't read too much. If you value it, you will see it easily. Right? So just put a tick against 5 of your top values. 5 of them. Shouldn't take so much time. What you really value. And some of the words you use will be in there, right? Some of them might not be there exactly, so you can just use another word that mean the same thing. Done? Right. Now, we have some sticky notes right on your tables. You can just take one, right? Just take one out. Then you can cut it into 3 pieces for you. Just cut it into 3 for you. Yeah, just fold it into 3 like that. Don't be too nice about it, you can. Okay. So go to 3. Now, if you've done that, I want you to go back to the workbook, to your list of values. And I want you to look at the 5 you've selected and then pick your top 3 out of the 5. And then you write each one of them on those, pieces of papers that you have. All right, done? Good. Done. Still writing, done. Still writing, done. Okay, I'm going to ask you to get up. Stand up, thank you. And while you're standing, look at the 3. Take your values, not your papers anymore, now your values. Take your values, look at the 3. Now, look, I'm going to ask you to do this and we're going to sit down. Right? Look at the 3. Think about your top 2. The least one of the 3. Offering time.
Yes, that's fine.
Give me the least one out of the 3.
Out of the 3,
The least out of the
one.
3. Yeah.
The list.
The list. Good. The list. Good. Shouldn't be difficult. Good. Thank you. The list. You should have 2 now, right? That is fine. Thank you very much. Please take your seat. Thank you. No, wait before you sit down. Maybe we should take 1 out of the 2.
Jesus Christ.
This is the part who drop God. Please stand up again. Let's give me 1 out of the 2. The least out of the 2. Are you ready?
Yes. Okay.
You want me to start? I can.
Okay.
You ready? Okay, the least out of the 2. Good. I've seen people drop God and take wealth. All right. You not say respect before.
Again.
You just drop respect.
Well, 1 out of 2.
1 out of 2. The least. What do you have?
Spiritual.
Spiritual and faith. Yeah, please take your seat. Thank you very much. Thank you. Now, all right. How is that? That level of introspection is what you need to do about anything you think you do. Now, what you have might not be your biggest value yet. Might be your biggest value indicator. Might not be something you live alive, but that's something you really want to align to. Who has spiritual? Yeah, very spiritual. Who has? Let's see what pastor has. What do you have? Spiritual. Okay. All right. What do you have? Family. You said family before, right? What do you think for? Respect. Okay. What do you have? Love. Okay. What do you have?
Excellence.
Excellence. Family. Family. What all of you are saying, but you wanted profits.
So in the list of values,
There's no profits.
There's no
There's
profit.
profits.
There's worth.
There's success.
There's
Success.
wealth.
Oh, but you wanted the top.
Yeah, that's the top, exactly.
So,
What that means, you know what it means? What it means is that if you have to choose, if your mentor asks you a question like my mentor did and said, passion or profit, spirituality or wealth, what you're saying is you go with spirituality.
because like you said, that's
It's okay, there's nothing wrong with it. You get where I'm coming from? And there's nothing wrong with it. As a matter of fact, all you need to ask yourself is this really me? And you might not have done it. You might want to go back home to look through the list. And if you're online, I'm going to send it to everyone again. And look at it again. See, is this really what I value? Because if this is what you value, could it be that's the reason you're not achieving the things you want to achieve? Because the set of values required are the same. So imagine you running community and your driver is wealth. What I'm going to do next, even though the next session is on public speaking, I'm going to give you a free career driver test. It's another kind of test, but to give you some more focus. Because if you are driven by wealth, you probably won't be doing what you do. Does that mean you cannot be wealthy? They're two different things, right? You can be. But if you're really pursuing something and your values are not aligned, you'll have conflicts in your life. My wife is here. I have tried to do a lot of other things. At the end of the day, this is me. You know when they say someone is running away from their calling? We often think about that in terms of pastors, right? A lot of people are running away from their calling. Their lives are in disarray because what they want to do is different from what they are designed for, what they value. So there's a huge conflict in their lives. A lot of people have that. So when I have to speak to people in coaching, one of the things we do, so I have something called alignment and clarity coaching. I help you gain that because what you've done today is just an exercise. If we go deeper, there are more assessments that will help you go deeper, and then you start unpacking them. So this is really what, because today you've chosen family. I can help you go deeper into what about family really do you want to pursue, and the values can change. By the way, it is where you are today. Tomorrow it could be wealth. And you could choose to say, okay, fine, you know what? I value God, but God is given. Right? Okay, now is that why? So God is given. So I have God. So if God is given, the next value is then wealth. His family is given, maybe the next one is love. But it's something you need to do. If you know yourself, half of the problem is solved. The problem is a lot of people don't know themselves. What about beliefs? What about beliefs?
So Harry, for clarity,
Go ahead.
So, and at the beginning of the class, you have stressed that no matter what you do, you would always amplify Christ.
Me, right?
Yeah, so when you could.
I know where you're going. Finish.
You would always let people know about the God factor of
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Mm-hmm.
So just for clarity, I know I had mentioned wealth at the beginning of the class.
Mm-hmm.
And to piggyback on what you just said, spirituality is a given.
It's given,
Yeah. So I'm still on that part of profit over passion.
But again, if I remember what you chose, the second one you drop was respect. So that means respect actually tops wealth for you. Value. Remember, this is value. This is not what you pursue. This is what you value the most. So it could be respect because you want to be seen as a wealthy person. It could even be spirituality in everything. Right? So it doesn't mean that. Let me give you an example. It could be spirituality in everything. So even as we make money, you're spiritual about it. If we are helping people, we're spiritual about it. If it's family, you're family oriented. So your family will always come first. Or wherever you find yourself, you will think more about pulling people together as a family.
Yes.
And I
So
think
that's the definition.
Exactly.
It depends on your perspective, the way you say things. So for me, family is not just my wife and my
Yeah,
kid.
got
It
you.
goes beyond
Got you.
that. So my brothers, there are people
Indeed.
that are close to me than my brother and sister or my siblings that I consider part of my family because they've given me so much of them and I pour myself into them as well. So it goes, I think it's just that, you might pick spirituality and it might go.
It can go different direction.
Yeah.
So you get that, right? Different direction. So it's not a case of, oh no, everywhere you go to is either like, imagine I come in here and I'm like it goes beyond that. But I hear what you're so it's about and guess what? Let's be honest with ourselves. None of us in this room is driven by only one value. I just made it difficult for you because I wanted you to come to one.
Actually, that's what we're going to. That's Article 25.
Yeah, it's not everyone is driven by several other values, and but good point to raise. Okay, all right. So we've done the value exercise. Any question on awareness? So we talk about strengths, right? You know your strengths now. Weaknesses, you've written them down in the canvas. Values. So can you write these 3 values in your canvas? The top 3 or the top 5 in your canvas so that you can remember. And if you want a blank canvas later, I'll give you one, no problem. Good. What would be interesting is that if you've got a spouse you can do this with, is important. My wife has probably done this like how many times? But every time you do it, it's refreshing. So feel free to take one of the manuals for your wife if you want to. Debo and just I know David has just the All right, so let's go on. So take your values. Well, let's talk about growing capabilities. So remember the journey. The ACE journey was the first one. Awareness. Second one is capabilities. So let's talk about capabilities quickly. And we're closing in on the time anyway, so no problem. We're not going to stay too long. Capabilities. There are 4 elements I want you to think about when it comes to capabilities. And why is it very important? Think about the 3 Ds of life. The first one is discovery. The second one is development. The third one is deployment. So ACE has just followed the same thing. So awareness is, what about me do I need to know? Why on earth am I here? So the question of purpose, the question of strengths, the question of weaknesses, the question of values and beliefs that we've just gone through. So you know yourself. What else you need to do to make yourself a person that can take hold of that purpose-driven, profitable passion? Because knowing yourself is not just enough. Like they say, talent is not enough. There's a bridge between discovery and manifestation or expression or delivery or deployment. That bridge is the development, capabilities.
Can you say that again, please?
The bridge between discovery and deployment is development. Again, oftentimes people want to jump into delivery, deployment. I want to start, like me, I want to start a real estate business. I want to, what else is going on? Amazon this. What other business? Drop shipping. All those great businesses out there. But then you skipped development. Because if you don't have the right skills in those areas, you're going to fall flat or fail flat, as the case may be. So what capabilities, how do we build the right capabilities? Because it's not just about going to school. It's about going to learn what you need to learn in the right direction you need to learn it. So the first thing, again, you're going to do here is to be true to your strengths. So you see, we're not going to, remember I said that one of the things about your strengths is that it's easy for you to grow in it. It's easy for you to be creative in it. So the first thing in building the right capabilities is to be true to your strengths. In other words, you will not try to build things because it's cool for other people. You will try to build it because it's yours. I learned to speak. I mean, he was talking about Dr. Sam Chan today. I have mentors for every single area of my life. You know, there are at least 5 people you need for any goals to be achieved in your life. 5 types of people you need for any goal to be achieved in your life. Number 1, you need a mentor. Someone on whose shoulder you can stand and see beyond where you are. Someone that has gone the journey you want to start, a mentor. Number 2, you need a peer. Someone who is going your direction in life. Someone you can compare notes with. Number 3, you need a student. Someone who is going your direction but hasn't gone as far as you. So they will help you to hone that thing that you want to deliver. Number 4, you need a cheerleader. Someone that will cheer you on even if things are tough. Let me be honest with you. I said at the beginning that it's easy for me to have an audience of 1. It's because in any case, I have an audience of 1. So if you all didn't show up today, there will be somebody in this room and we still have the same session. You know, she'll just be hearing the thing like 1 millionth time, but she might be tired of it, but she will keep clapping. She's probably heard it. I'm sure she probably can say it like someone that she can say it like exactly what I'm going to say. Like that's fine. So it's important to have those 5 people. Number 5. Now, number 5, I'm going to merge it quickly with a model from said business school, Oxford. You then need partners. You need partners, right? Now, the partners you need are 3 types of partners. You need strategic partners or relationships. You need strategic relationships. You need operational relationships or partners. Then you need personal relationships. Let me start from the personal relationships. You just need people in your life you can call on to help you execute a goal. And if you don't have them, life can be difficult. Today is easy because we've used personal, strategic, partner table. You get what I'm saying? Life can be difficult if you have you ever been new in a city before and you don't know anybody? Life, no matter how rich you are, life can be difficult. Number 2. So you have those people you can always call on to help you. Number 2, you need operational partners. You see, they're just those people that, especially for work, they are there. You want to do a PowerPoint, you know what to do, or you're doing a number, you don't know what to do, you can call on them. Then the 3rd people you need, the partners you need strategic partners. Strategic partners.
That's the first one.
Personal. I know I'm reading, I'm dealing it from top down, bottom up. The first one the first one I talked about was personal, second one operational, and the first one, which I'm taking as last, is the strategic one. Strategic partners, sometimes they can be mentors as well, or they can be sponsors, but you don't talk to them every day. You don't need them for everything. You need them for some things. Let me give an example for DCH members. He was a strategic partner who is also my mentor, Dr. Sam Chan, that introduced me to Pastor Bayer. So I broke the ice from that point of view. And I mean, you said your friends are still on their way, right? If they're coming, it's all right, no problem. They were eager to come because, oh no, if he could pull Dr. Sam Chan, right? So I have a lot of them. I have strategic partners in strategic places across the world. But I don't talk to them. You can talk to your personal partners and relationships every day. Because they're personal anyway. Operational, work related. But strategic, not all the time. So the day you take your phone and call them, they know it's very important. They move the mountains for you. Now see, it's an error to try to live life alone. So growing capabilities is not just growing your own capabilities, it's also growing your capacity. Growing your capacity is not just about things you can get, it's about people you can have. It's very important. Again, to people, solicit feedback. You really want to gain self-mastery? I told you about things you cannot see. People, you define yourself in terms of your identity. Oh, I am this, I am that. People define you in terms of reputation, how you rub off on them, your blind spots, which we all have. If you really want to be a great personal leader, you need to know what people are seeing in you or about you that you're not seeing. So that's a lot of feedback. And I'm not saying wait for the feedback. I'm asking you to solicit the feedback. Ask for it. You see, if you wait for the feedback, oftentimes it comes in when there are issues, especially, the language of always in marital relationship. You always do this. We all hear it like, always. It's not true. It's the way you're feeling at that time. But if everything is fine and then you solicit feedback, the chance that you will hear the real thing is very high. So anywhere you work, anywhere you find yourself, if you really want to grow your self-leadership, ask them for feedback. Last week I was having my mid-year review with my team and my direct report. When we're doing, I asked him, so give me feedback on my leadership. I know I was asking for a lot, but I prepared myself to say whatever it tells me, I will take from it and use it for my growth. Because the only way you can grow beyond what you already know is through feedback. So feedback is a gift, but we're not getting there. We're going to go for it. First, just watch. Then ask good questions and listen. Again, if you want to be a true personal leader and gain self-mastery, you need to learn to ask quality questions, not closed questions. Do you think I'm great? You already know the person will not say no, right? So if I ask you, do you think I'm great? If you really want to bust my bubble, you go no, right? If you want to be nice, you say yes. But if I come and say, how can I be better? Powerful question. Then you start telling me, oh, maybe you talk a little more slowly. By the way, I talk faster than this. But I'm talking slowly because of feedback.
First time you preached at this age, I was like, what's this saying? Can you just
You get what I'm saying? If I'm very excited, I'm gone. And also because I introspect a lot. Sometimes we're talking, and I'm telling her, oh, my personal devotion, how this scripture was unpacked, and I'm good. Sometimes I know she's tired, but she goes, because that's me. I'm very excited in what I unpack. You get what I'm saying? But so the feedback in the class, so I take it easy. Now, I learned to talk slowly because also I deal with a lot of nationalities. I mean, my company, I look after 46 countries. So sometimes, it's not even this. Sometimes I know that I've spoken for 30 minutes and some people are there nodding and smiling. They did not hear one thing. I was saying, you just have to be there and be nice to me, right? So now I try to speak a bit slowly on feedback. And it came, sometimes the feedback will not even resonate once. It kept coming and I had to learn it. Does that mean I take all the feedback? And sometimes it's so harsh, you just want to take it. But let me tell you one thing, I'm going to go to lifelong learning. But there's something called the principle of the green tail. And a lot of us don't like this. So if one person says, Harry, you have a green tail, is a lie, right? How can I? I'm human. Made. I can even have made in the image of God. Right? Now, if both of them then say you have a green tail, because they're sitting next to each other, it could be collusion. Right? But if everybody is saying you have a green tail, you have a green tail, it is time to check. Is that a green tail? So it's about what people say about you. Are they colluding against you? Is it a lie? Or is it something worth checking if it's there? The reason you're not seeing it is simply because it's a blind spot. If it's not a blind spot, you will see it. But you see, why I told you about questions is, if someone says you have a green tail and you cannot see it, it's okay to tell them, can you describe the tail? Does it look like the tail of a frog or the tail of? Describe it. Explain to me what you are saying that I'm not saying. But it's okay to then go to them to say, thank you, because you see feedback as a gift. But you cannot gain self-mastery by what you know about yourself alone. What you know is highly insufficient. Because, we're all Christians here, right? And people online can hear me as well. Oftentimes people say, God looks on the inside, man looks on the outside, right? Last time I remember, you live next to man, not God. Right? You work with man. If you do a business, it's a man that will pay you or a woman, right? So it's important to also think about what they see and the feedback they give you as well. It's part of self-mastery. All right? What about committing to lifelong learning? Commit to lifelong learning. Personal leadership requires committing. So I'm using personal leadership and self-mastery interchangeably because they're the same thing. All right? What about committing to lifelong learning? That is, you cannot grow and be the best you can be. You cannot grow if you don't commit to lifelong learning. You have to be a learner. They say leaders are readers. I think they just use readers because of the cliche. It sounds nice. Leaders are learners. Alvin Toffler, you probably have seen this before. Can we read it together just to be sure you're with me? Want to go? The elite of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. And again, it fits back to the filter conversation. There are just some things you need to unlearn. There are just some things you need to relearn. There's something I do a lot of. I just sit down and ask myself, how did I get these results that I have today? Because maybe there's something in there I need to relearn so I can get the results I'm looking for. But sometimes, because we define progress as forward ever, backward never, which is in itself not entirely true, you don't want to have anything to do with the past, but there are lessons you can learn from the past. How did you arrive there in the first place? Could be a pointer to how you will get there. Might not be the same thing, might not be the same mindset. If it took you relationships, connecting with great people to be where you are today, it probably will take you relationships to get to where you're going to next time. Maybe not the same people, but you need to unlearn certain things, relearn certain things, and learn new things as well. It's a concept of upskilling, reskilling, and all that. Yeah? Any question before I go on to the next point on committing to lifelong learning? Because when we do an exercise now, any comment, question? Online, let me just check. We have some people online. I'll go to, if you have a question, a comment, I'm going to YouTube now to check. Okay, wow. They just, thank you. Please confirm you can hear. They can hear clearly. Okay, no question. We'll just go on. All right. What about how to really show that you commit to lifelong learning? It's not complicated. I'm not going to ask you to go to take a course in, at Harvard or at Oxford. Let's be honest with ourselves. Those are certificates. We learn every single day. A lifelong learner does three things. They learn from those around them. They learn from their own mistakes. They learn from development opportunities like this. That's a lifelong learner. I can tell that you're a lifelong learner by being here. Yes. Right? People that don't learn, you will know. See, people that want quick fixes, you'll know. If this was how to generate $5 million a month, this place is going to be packed whether I lie to them or not. Lifelong learners learn from it. You think about every engagement is a learning opportunity. That's how to gain self-mastery. There's a leader I respect a lot. This gentleman only needs to see you once. He knows your name and he will always remember. So I asked him, how does he do it? You must be very intelligent. You must have the IQ of Albert Einstein. He said, no. He said, the first thing I do is when I greet you, I create a mental picture of your face. You tell me your name, I attach it. And if it's not registering, I take a photograph with you. When I save your name on my phone, I put the picture and your name against it. So anytime I see your phone number, I see your name, I see your picture, it brings back up the picture, mental picture, and I remember you. I try to do it and it works. It just requires, like many other things, discipline. Because I don't know about you. It takes me a long time to remember some people's names. Just that I can. And for many of us, the mask was helping us for the last 1 year. Now we're in trouble. Now we're in trouble. Because with the mask, mask. Now you see the person, you don't know the person, then you can't remember the person. All right. Learn from those around you. Learn from your own mistakes. Learn from development opportunities. Now, if you are online, I just want you to type in the chat how you can learn from any of either of these 3 points on the screen. And if you are in the room, I want us to do this. So you're going to stand up, right? And then just come here. I'm going to draw 3 lines. Where's my marker? I'm going to draw 3 lines, 1 to represent each. And all you need to write there is how you think we can learn from each of them. Oh, no, where's my marker? Okay, just come and use your pen, please. Yeah. So here is the first one. Learn from yourself. Let's say learn from you, yourself, your mistakes. Sorry, your mistakes. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. So this one is mistakes. This is a chart. Okay. Mistakes. Don't worry, just write anyhow. It doesn't have to. You don't have to have a line. Those around you. And let's use Devos on. This one will be development opportunities. So all you need to do is to take your pen, go on any of these tables and write how you can learn from your mistakes, how you can learn from other people around you, and how you can learn from developing new shapes. Let me give you an example of mistakes. Mistakes will be, I will think through my mistakes. As simple as that. Those around you could be, I will ask quality questions going forward. Development opportunities could be, I'll come for the next Shift Masterclass. All right, good. Let's do that. Use your pen, just write it anyhow. It doesn't have to take any shape or any form. Okay, good.
Can we start anywhere?
Anywhere, please. Okay. So you can start anywhere. You don't have to. I'm asking you to write because oftentimes you will remember what you wrote today. Maybe you remember next time. Okay. You can say you're going to register for a conference or take a course you're supposed to have taken like a year ago. Finally start that master's program. Okay, let me come there. It's a cue for this one. You can write anyone first. Yes, please. No, please. If you want some water, please, feel free. Thank you. I'm going to be reading some of them. If you've already written, that's fine. I'll reflect. I'll look back and take corrections. I will ask for feedback in any of my doings. I will ponder over feedback. I will engage a feedback system or solicit for feedback, then take actionable steps to improve them, to improve on them. I will observe. I'll engage in taking points and listen to their perspectives, belief system. I mean, it's interesting that I see belief system here because, and allow me to say this, a lot of us Christians are guilty of this, forgetting that there are other worldviews out there. And sometimes being open to hear other people's worldviews can be the biggest source of lessons we can get in life. I've listened to some people, and you wonder that if you really just look beyond your differences from them, how you're different from them, you really see that they're making sense. You can learn one or two things from them. And they are not in conflict with your faith offerings. There are things you can really learn from. So it's important to open up and learn from other people, listen more, change my mindset and be open to learning things, listen more, ask questions and interact with people, listen more. Wow, there's a lot of listen more here. Listen more and listen more, listen more. All right, then read more books and take new courses, commit to lifelong learning opportunities, continue to read books and self, new materials, okay, can see that. Read more books and watch video lessons and lectures, great. Attend both physical and virtual trainings. Read books, take courses, etc. Read, explore, search, and be adventurous. I like that. I'll attend, nice. I'll attend more shift. Finally! Somebody, I'm wondering, you guys, nobody's even writing attend more shift masterclass. What is wrong with you? I like this. Attend more shift masterclass with Harry. We should take this one and frame it.
But that's part of the lifelong learning.
Part of lifelong learning. And look for opportunities for development and growth. Thank you so much, everyone. Okay, well, let me see what's happening here. All right, some things from online. How I will learn from myself. I'll do it. How I will learn from myself. I'll do a playback and recap on past activities and focus on areas where I need self-improvement. And I will proceed to finding how to fix them. That's from YouTube. Then we have learn from others by having the humility to ask them how they achieved their feat. That is massive. Thank you so much. I think now the reason I haven't listed all this for you is because we're using a coaching methodology, is that you know these things. Again, introspection. Self-mastery requires that you can think deep and ask yourself, how can I do it? Have you realized that none of these things you mentioned, except for the development opportunities, really cost money? Even that,
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times we stall. A lot of times people just stop doing things because you're thinking it's about money and all that. Now, by the way, I'm hoping I will charge for the next masterclass, by the way. But I'm not keen. I'm not keen, especially if our costs are covered. But the point is, if you really want to gain self-mastery, you need to learn from people and learn from yourself. And those two are free. The one that probably will cost you some money is learning from development opportunities. However, learning from others can also cost you some money. I mean, so we talk about one of my mentors. Let me tell you, the first time I met him physically, I wasn't even living in the US then. When I flew from South Africa, I went for a meeting in Guatemala. I came back to Atlanta. I was in Atlanta for 4 days. No, 2 days, because I was in Dallas 2 or 3 days. I didn't see him. So on my way out of Atlanta back to South Africa, we agreed that we're going to meet for 1 hour. So at the airport, he asked me, so what are you doing in Atlanta? I'm like, I came to see you. Tell me when next I ask him, I want you to speak at the conference. So the problem with mentoring is people always think that their mentors should chase after them. Lie. You chase after your mentors. Do you know what I get a lot of? People sending me messages, I want you to mentor me. I just laugh. I was almost going to ask them, can you drink the cup that I will drink from? Like Jesus did. Because a lot of times people want you to mentor them, but they're not ready to pay the price. I have my own family. The same way you have your own family and you have your own time you're managing, your mentor has the same time. Perhaps the bigger your mentor, the bigger the number of people that want his attention. So if you want personal attention from him, so I'm saying all these are free, but you need to work for it. There's nothing that will happen on its own here. They all require being intentional. But how can you gain self-mastery without committing to lifelong learning? It is not possible. It is not possible. Committing to lifelong learning means you have to have a growth mindset. You move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. From a fixed mindset to a growth mindset.
So thank you.
Please, yeah.
Fixed mindset, growth mindset.
Yes.
For example, values. So what if one chooses a value like family? That's a fixed mindset, right? Is there a way someone can adopt a growth mindset from such a value?
Yes, sure. All you need to ask yourself, what are you trying to achieve? Right? Is your value, is what you value an enabler or an inhibition to what you want to achieve? Let me give you an example. If you run a business that aligns to your strength, you don't want to thrive in that business, but you don't believe in charging people for products, there's already a conflict. Or if you want to continue with that business, you need to shift your mind to learning to understand and appreciate that when it comes to business, it's not charity. You get it? So that you can change from that point of view. And there's no values are not permanent. They are filters. Your values can change. Values are not permanent. That which is why beliefs are also not permanent. As a matter of fact, do you know you believe before you know the reason why you believe? Let me give you an example. I don't know if we have non-Christians on the online, but please permit me to use this example. How many of you believe that Jesus died for you? Raise your hand. You're in the class. Were you there when he died? People that were there told you.
No, it's written.
It's written.
Yeah.
People that were there wrote it.
They are not even. I'm not sure.
I am not trying to challenge your faith, but I'm trying to tell. Believe without. You see what I'm saying right now?
In the true writings.
I don't know. I just believe because I have that belief. I don't think people that
But what's the source of your belief?
So those it's questionable because I've seen I've been at a place that people are challenging they're questioning the Bible as well. Like who wrote it? Which of the Bible is real? Is it the King James? Is it so many different versions? If I have to go by all that was written and start comparing notes, I will end up not believing. So I rather believe and just accept that this is what I believe. Then if I have to go by the book, I won't believe. I won't.
So actually,
to be honest,
the real sense of belief, we believe that we find reasons to support our beliefs. Let me ask you a question. Now, by the way, I'm still a pastor, ordained, anointed, spirit-filled, tongue-speaking, low rates, middle rates, high rates, demon chasing. That doesn't change that fact. But we believe first. How many of you knew that the chair you're sitting on carry on it? You didn't know. It was when you sat that after a while you start balancing to the chair. We believe first before finding reason to believe. Even the day now you know, because you've probably been a Christian for many years, the day you gave your life to Jesus, you got convicted in the moment. In the moment. It is now that you're feeling you're challenging it because over time you have found supporting facts to support your belief. Are you following me? Who then says you cannot make $1 million next week? The fact that you think you cannot make $1 million next week, again, is a belief you had, and you now support it. Because if I tell you now, you start giving me the reasons it's not happened. Mm-hmm. That's good. So find it. I mean, these are not things I'm saying. These are research-based things. So I allow you to Google them, right? And find out about them. You believe, and then you find reasons to support what you do. Let's talk about love.
Just to add to what you've also said, so I also strongly believe that in as much that you just stated now that it's possible to believe that you can make $1 million next week. I also believe that there's a process to it.
You believe. See, I like you said you believe the process.
Before the process.
Yeah.
You believe and then you believe there's a process.
Exactly.
Yeah. Can I give you an example? Can I give you an example? Everybody, let's go back to the Bible that you believe in so much. There was a man who was told that by tomorrow morning, what you are buying for very expensive will be cheap. Remember that story?
Yes.
And that one struggled to believe it because there's nothing around supporting that shows that that's possible. Did it happen or not? If I told you of April 2019 that in 2020, for the entire year, from April to December, you wear mask, would you believe? So the point is, we just believe because of some facts we think we see, and over time, we support our belief. So the problem is, all the challenges you are facing with growth, self-mastery, personal leadership, and success boils down to how you are. Even the Bible says, the just shall live by faith, right? Can I say that in today's English? It means how you believe is how you believe. How you believe is how you believe. So all your expressions and everything you do all functions of how you are. I know people just say, change your mind and change your life. People don't often go into the neuroscience part of it. I'm telling you about the neuroscience part of it, that your mind is not just something you flip open, just like that, because there's some things that have been there. The reason there will be conflicts here is because I will say things and it's challenging things to do it. I'm not adding value to you if all I'm telling you is things you want to hear. The value I'm adding to you is because I'm challenging what you believe. And I'm not challenging against your faith because I believe that's it. I have that same faith. I'm challenging it to help you think differently. Let me give you an example how I got a global job. It's true life story, my story. How I got a global job. I moved from Port Harcourt to Lagos. People say I got a global job because I work in a global organization. That is not true. A year before I got the global job in 2009, I met with Dr. Emmanuel Inebori, who used to come from South Africa. And I had him speak at the first ever Shift conference. So we flew him from South Africa to Nigeria. He spoke. Before I invited Dr. Emmanuel Inebori, I wanted to invite Dr. Brian Tracy. And people thought I was crazy. I contacted them. It was going to cost me $70,000 then to bring him to South Africa. And he told me, so I thought I was going to contact other people who will speak with them. I will speak because he said, no, I will pay him $70,000 for me. And any other place is going to speak, I will guarantee 50% of his fees for those places. But somebody said adventurous. That is me. That's my kind of adventure. I delve into things I don't have the right to try. But I told myself, I will be a Brian Tracy. I will be a global speaker as well. So from that moment, I started changing myself from Harry speaker to my international speaker. At that time, I've only been to South Africa on community efforts. You know what I'm talking about? She's the one that raised the money for the Before the South Africa one, I went to the Republic by mistake. Have you been to a different country by mistake? I read geology, I studied geology, mineral science. And on my way, we went to do something in Ogo State. And they told us that's the border of the Republic. So we told them, please, can we just? So we can show people that we went abroad. So I changed myself to international speaker and I changed the dynamics. I met Dr. Manuel Babri. My wife is here. I used to go every Friday. I would fly from Port Harcourt to Lagos to meet him. I'll be back on Sunday to get to work on Monday. I started prepping it. He started telling me things, shaping my mind differently, opening me up to possibilities, saying things I don't read. He says, it changed my mind completely. When it was time, I was ready. Remember, when they interviewed me for the global job, they interviewed other people, but the only very people had that open mind. So your mind changes before your life can change. The problem is, you jump awareness, you jump capabilities, you go into expression. You are running beyond it before your time. That was what happened. And I continue to do that. I have another mentor. He doesn't say anything to me, or perhaps I don't hear what he says. I just want to be around him and feel, this is the word, I feel his thinking through what I see around him. He's extremely excellent and is a boundary pusher. So I push the boundary as much as I can. And let me tell you one thing. Initially it was very difficult because I was still building that self-mastery. But now it is easy because of engagement with my other mentors, engagement with Dr. Emmanuel Inebori. When I was going to connect with the likes of Dr. Sanchad, it was a text. I was bold enough to do it in a text. Bold enough to tell them on Twitter. The first time, yes. I want to start. See, your new life is at the other side of the confidence.
Oh, yeah.
That confidence is a function of you. The reason you think some people are too big is because you think they are too big.
But to be realistic, though, they are.
Until you realize that you can have an engagement with them. Let me tell you what's going to happen now. After today, when next you see me, we'll talk like past. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Because we spent 2.5 hours here.
Confidence in each
other.
When I see him, this say like, hi, Pastor Harry, and he'll just move with his wife. I'm like,
Do you get what I'm talking about, right? That's it. I mean, it's the mind that needs to change first. But that mind, it takes a long time. I tell people, you don't shift the mind. It's a filter. How many of you know those cars that use, I don't know the right word for it, but it's carburetor they call it. You know what I'm talking about. You know those cars before they start, you push them. And then if the filter is dirty, the car will jerk. What do? You want to stop the car from jerking? You change the filter. So you change your filter, your car will run smoothly. But the point is change that filter. So where I delve more to, I stay more in just changing the filter. Time is of the essence. We're gonna go now. So growth mindset is what you need to have. Growth mindset means 5 things. Can I show you? It means learning agility. Growth mindset means self-awareness again, people agility, change agility, results agility. Let me show you what mental agility means. Mental agility means you are a critical thinker.
You don't have that person.
You don't have it. Yeah, I'm going to give you the PDF. Yeah, of the pack. You are a critical thinker, and you are comfortable with complexity. You examine problems carefully, and then you make fresh connections. In other words, you don't just look at things on the surface. So because I told you it is black, it doesn't mean it's black. Belief. Remember that you attach my value to what you believe. If you believe me 100%, even if I lie to you, that's what happens. Right? Then another one I will show you is change. Growth mindset, you like to experiment and you can deal with resistance to change. You like to try things out. This is our first shift masterclass in Houston. Do you know how much mental barrier I needed to overcome to do this? Meanwhile, I've done it. How many of you saw the video at the beginning? I've done this since 2000. Actually, the very first masterclass happened in 2002. So this is not what we are doing because I've done it since 2002. The biggest conference we had was Shift, started in 2009. Every year in different countries. The Shift this year is happening in Tanzania. We've had Ghana, South Africa. We have Shift in the US. Now in the US, we have in the UK, everywhere. But to do this one, do you know I almost canceled this thing last week?
Why?
Mental barrier. Oh, it doesn't stop. But you know what's going to happen now? We've done this. We're going to do the next one. Now you move. It's the initial inertia that you need to just overcome sometimes. Right? All right, let's move on. I wrote this from Conferry. Conferry is a consulting organization. They're a search company as well. They said something about learning agility, and this is me leveraging for my role as a global head of talent and learning and development. When we are choosing talent in the organizations, people that has leadership potential, we look for people that have growth mindset. So if I want to promote you, I will promote you because you are so smart on your job. I'll promote you because I think you have leadership potential. How can I easily know you have leadership potential? You have growth mindset. How can I know you have growth mindset? You have all these agilities. And I can pick them by engaging with you. Right? So the Selenium agility is a fact-based predictor of continued leadership growth and potential. So if you want to grow your personal leadership, I will see it if you've got linear agility. How do I know you have linear agility? These points that I've listed here. All right, the last thing I'm going to say here because of time, in growing capabilities, you need to do one thing. You need to then I wrote it. It's devil. If you can see the screen, guys. Yeah, it's showing better now. Let me just read a comment here. Someone says, how I will learn from my, okay, no, that's not the point. Change the mind before you experience growth. Very critical. Yes, Folake Ferreira. Thank you so much. One of my mentors, Dr. Emmanuel Emebury, and I'm referring to him a lot today, I should call him, said success equals unique knowledge plus capacity building minus inhibitions. Now, I've put this under capabilities because we've talked about unique knowledge, self-awareness, right? We talk about capability building, capacity building. But what we don't talk about a lot of is inhibitions. We just make it sound like discover yourself, develop yourself, you take the world. That's not true. There are inhibitions, things that stop us. And the main thing that stops us is what I call the devil. I mean this literally and not literally. Right? But I'll show you what the devil means quickly. Distractions, excuses, vulnerabilities, discipline, and then limitations. These are the real devils we need to deal with. As a matter of fact, sometimes the real devil is afraid even if he gives you an assignment, that you won't do it because of these things. Because nothing gets achieved if you're struggling with this. Distractions. One of the reasons I coach people for focus is because a lot of people are distracted. Let me tell you one of the issues, and I'm going to focus on the last one, so I'll talk briefly on this. Distractions. Your past failures can be distractions to you. Your past successes can be distractions to you. The number of things you have to do today can be distractions for you. I know people often praise people that can multitask. Do you know that you are not created
I have postgraduates, I have postdoc, doctorate students. So like, I don't think I need you. I have people with papers and all of that. It felt so like impossible, and I had people that already believe that it's not possible. But there and then, the same day, I got the job.
Let me give you another. Yeah, great. Let me give you another example. Another example I'll tell you is they said that they told me that you couldn't get an international assignment in HR because HR, they don't really fund international assignment for HR people. In my then company, I was the first HR person to get international assignments. They paid for everything.
But that was you did not believe. It didn't affect you.
I told you many years ago, I told you I want to get a global person. Oh, by the way, the opportunities that led to that global opportunity happened in 5 minutes with Tracy. Literally like David. So I was on this project, and they met the other. So because I was on the project, I was away from the office, the main office. So she met everyone else in learning and development. So she said, "Oh, that's fine. She's met everyone." No, so no, there's a dude who is on a project. Maybe if you have time, you should meet him. So she said, "Okay, I'm going to the office, to the airport," and she was on the island. The people Lagos Island to airports and KJ's trouble. So I'm going to give him 5 minutes. I cannot know what I don't remember what I said in 5 minutes. But she sent me a link. She said, "Harry, you are not a complete talent." I thought it was an insult. She said, "You're a global talent, and I will commit to your development in this organization." That was exactly what happened. When I arrived in South Africa, a year later, she resigned. She called me to the office to tell me. She said, "I'm asking you to come because there's not time for you to leave the organization." So I'm happy that I'm leaving now, but I made sure you are settled. Preparation met opportunity. And I was preparing first before entirely. So that 5 minutes, I believe I showed up as a global. Do you know what I mean? Let me tell you what it means that people didn't understand. When I moved out of Nigeria to South Africa, I became way the senior of my manager because I took on a global role, which is a more senior role back then. Of course, don't talk about now. Now it's even not a conversation. As a matter of fact, now even herself, who was the person that took me to South Africa, I hired a company for a job just to do for me in my current organization. And when she's talking, she's talking nicely. I know what I tell people that's my boss. I'm saying, if this shit's there. But you see, a lot of times, limiting beliefs. They told me it's not possible. A black boy cannot be in the room with a white, and this is without prejudice to my white friends, but a black boy is supposed to be in the room with the white people and make comments. And it happened to me. My very first meeting in South Africa, I did not say a word. You know why? I was too timid to even say a word. Number one, HR is predominantly a female profession. L&D is worse. There are more females in L&D than any other profession. And in South Africa, mostly white. So I was in this room, the only male and the only black. And then you want me to say something. They were talking. Then Linda said, "No, Harry's in the room. Let him say something." It was 5 minutes to the end of the meeting. I made a comment. We ended up spending another hour because the meeting was back to my comments. That was the day I got a promotion. So I'm saying that it changes here first before it changes physically. And guess what? All this happened because I met people that helped us change here. I will never forget Dr. Emmanuel. And I remember him a lot today. But let's move on. So devil. So limitation, what do we deal with? Self-sabotage. And I want to focus on this as a final thing I will say before we close with the E, because we're going to close 1 p.m. I'm going to show you this. This is the self-sabotage, like the chart. Right here, you have the not good enough injunction. And if you stay here, you will not even have any achievement at all. And it's in the mind. Everything you want, like, see, let me tell you how to pick that you have limiting beliefs. Can I tell you the easiest way? Every time you want to do something and something says you cannot do it, you are dealing with limiting beliefs. Every time. See, every time you think of something, it should be your choice to do it or not. Do you get where I'm coming from? So not only you need to do everything, it should be your choice to say, I want to do it or not. Every time you feel, oh, it's not possible, then you're dealing with a limiting belief. You must find where it's stemming from. You must find where it's coming from. So if you have this not good enough injunction, you will not achieve. But if you allow it, even if you get to success, and the injunction comes back, you come in right down. So actually, at this level of not so good injunction, if you arrive there and you're self-sabotaging, there's only one place you can go to, right into failure. And I'm not trying to massage it or make it look nice. It is what it is. The reason, see, I am the type that will make a move before, let it be that I made a move and there are clear obstructions and I couldn't move on. That's not to make a move at all. One of my mentors will say, Harry, for you to make a wave, you need to make a move. So make a move first. Do you know that if you make a move, you see that it's possible? A lot of times it's possible. Let me show you the real self-sabotage formula right here. Easy. SBBGUR. Number one, shame. Because I am ashamed, therefore, I should hide or suppress. So if there are things in your life you're ashamed of. Let me give you an example in the US. One of those things is accent. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Do you know? I'm going to be open with you. One of the barriers I crossed to have this program now is maybe I need to sound in a way for people to understand me. My dear, I don't need to sound. I know my stuff. I know myself. I know my source. Do you get what I'm talking to you? After a while, if I need to acquire an accent, it eventually comes. And I'm not as young as I used to be. So acquiring it is not easy. It's easy. I mean, we're talking about Alvin. They acquire it in less than 2 years. It's not easy. If you see, if I'm the one, do you think Dangote will try to speak? Even the Americans will try to speak like Dangote. Do you know what I'm talking about? So that's the point. Shame. But we all go through that. I'm too black. Will they accept me? I dress like this. Maybe they won't accept me that. What about broken? Because I am broken, therefore, I should appear whole. So because I have these issues I'm dealing with, so in public I'm pretending and I lose my authenticity. You know, if you pretend, people will know you're pretending.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it will slow you down. Number 3, blame. Okay, because I carry blame, therefore I should carry the burdens. You know, people like us should just stay here and carry all the burdens of the world because we are like this. I'm running because what about guilt? Because I carry guilt, therefore I should be punished. So people actually justify their lack of growth in their life as a punishment that God or human being has given them because of certain things they've done. You'll be shocked what we all go through, right? Unloved. Because I'm unloved, I should be perfect. So I want to pretend I'm perfect because I'm unloved. Or I'm imperfect, so I should imitate people. I should be like somebody. You know? So if I'm like them, then people will accept me. These are the extreme stage of self-sabotage. Right.
So which of these did you have to go through to get to where you are?
Right now, I went through shame a lot.
Why?
Shame? I'll tell you why. You know where they call it Laurie?
Yeah.
I'm a proper Laurie boy. Right? I'm a proper Laurie boy. Where I don't know how many H factor you got in today from my accent. But it is there. Right? Then all of a sudden I appeared in a place like Port Harcourt. You know, where all the oil people are. I mean, my parents are teachers. Maybe that's why I'm a teacher. And the only thing that makes sense in a place like Port Harcourt is you have to work in an oil company.
Yeah.
And I don't desire to work in an oil company. I've never desired it. The only time I went to Total to do a test was because if you go, they will give you free money. You know that? Oh, they'll give you money for coming for the test. So, and I know if I apply, they will take me. Yeah, I applied, I went there. They gave me free money for the test. I flunked the test. I came back because I was trying to do a job. But when I was in 200, they told me I discovered myself and so much to be helping people grow. So I went through that a lot. But you see, we all carry it, we don't say it. And maybe that's one of the problems.
Yeah.
I went through a lot of shame where I can't say much in a room because I'm not so sure of how I will sound. So that if I sound somehow, you know, when few times I have said certain things and people laughed. They laughed because they loved what I said, but I thought they were laughing at me.
Yeah.
So because of that, I stopped talking. These days, I talk. If you laugh, no problem. You get where I'm coming from, right? And we all go through that. We all go through. You will go through. If you are not moving as fast as you move, there's something here stopping you. You need to find that thing and stop that thing. You need to stop it. Some people is blame. A lot more people carry that blame thing. A lot. Or let me give you how immigrants think, especially Nigerian immigrants or West Africa, not just Nigeria, maybe Ghanaian as well. They think when they come to a place like this, let me just cover my head so I can get my people and just be here and let life just be nice. Let me not go and come and do something now. They will not come and be saying, I should go back.
Nice.
let me just respect myself.
That's very, very detrimental to growth because I was speaking to someone the other day, respectfully speaking to everyone.
Yeah.
You know, I've discovered that some Nigerians that migrated there are not willing to take the extra effort to grow. For example, lifelong opportunities. Nobody really wants to come to a place like this because sometimes someone might feel I'm out of place.
Mm-hmm.
So I cannot be here, number one. Then secondly, I believe that anybody that's made it here, this is an opportunity for one to grow. Or something like, you know what, I came from Nigeria, so I'm not going to be in my comfort zone.
Exactly. I've already arrived. That's exactly.
That's the problem.
It's self-sabotage.
People
Yeah.
don't have that understanding.
They don't. They should be.
So it's not their fault. They don't have that understanding.
They-
You're here because you have that understanding and you've broken away from some things. That's why you're able to be here. But a lot of people are still dealing with that.
That's it.
And so for some of us that we're blessed to be here today, hearing you is changing our minds.
Yeah.
They should actually be here listening. But you're right.
Hopefully we will reach out to other people that
Sure.
are not here
Sure.
with us.
No, you'd be shocked that even the ones that are. I've met a number of people that are even Americans, white Americans, like they've been here for many years. When they open their mouth to speak, you hear just limitations, true and true. Limitations, true and true. So one of the things we're starting in Puerto Rico is the shift master. So we're having this in Puerto Rico in a couple of weeks, and then we're having something for high school graduates to prepare them for the workplace, called employability, also a shift solution. When I told some of my colleagues I'm starting that, they were like, how? Then I said, okay, I'm actually having a meeting with someone to discuss it. So I hooked up with the CEO of Invest Puerto Rico, Robert Miller. So I told them, I said, I hooked up. You guys said, when did you come to Puerto Rico? I said, how did you meet him? I met him on LinkedIn. I hooked him up on LinkedIn. I said, let's have dinner. And I was willing to pay for the dinner, even though we all pay for our bills. I met him. And when I met him, I met a few other people who are doing great stuff in Puerto Rico. Now he's going to link me with some other people that will participate in the solution. I met the head of Parallel 18. Parallel 18 is like said institutes. They're quite big. They're going to host it. I'm not going to pay for a venue in Puerto Rico. I only believe I could do it. Yep. I don't speak Spanish still. All I do to make them feel nice, hola, ¿cómo estás? When you are done here, we're done. I'll tell you, español poquito. Meaning, my español is small. Then they say my English is small. I say your English is better than my español. Let's go. And then they'll come down to your level. Conversation. Your mind.
I guess being personable.
Indeed.
If you believe it, you can achieve it.
If you believe it, you can achieve it. Indeed. So self-sabotage. But you see, I am not saying anything here that someone needs to do for you. Please let's just underline that. I don't talk about what people need to do for you. I talk about what you need to do for yourself. Let me, and David, allow me to tell this story. So David and I, we had a conversation about real estate, and we met this guy who does fixing and flipping. And he said we could tag along when he wants to do fixing. And David and I were interested because when he has it, and I told my wife also, who's been asking, when he wants to do it, you call us and we tag along. You know what's going to happen? I promise you, if I have time to follow him, give me 1 year. I will be telling him how to fix something. All I need to do is just that I'm spending more time in Puerto Rico now. All I need to do is to just stay on it. Because with the mind with which we're going there is to learn. I'm sure even he was, when we asked him want to tag along, he didn't believe. He was like, did you really have to? But we said we're interested. It's a learning. It's just the growth mindset will break all these things. All right, we are closing now. So how do you deal with self-sabotage? I'm going to run because of time. How do you deal with self-sabotage? Thank you, everyone online. Number one, start with noticing and stopping self-judgment. So I said every time you want to do something and you feel like you're stopping yourself, just stop that. Number two, change your definition of self-worth from outcomes to sincere efforts. So stop looking at outcomes only. Remember, we're talking about your self-worth now. So you're not saying it's not okay to have results. You are saying I am defining my worth based on what I do, how I'm able to do it, not based on what I get out of it. So as a matter of fact, I am happy that I've ran Shift Masterclass in Houston. I'm not going to say, 10 people attended the session. Because the moment I said 10 people attended the session, someone who knows how many people attend in South Africa and Tanzania will go, oh no, Harry has gone down. I have not gone down. Yeah. I have just conquered a new territory. Mm-hmm. You can come in, but somebody was saying, but in South Africa, in fact, they will say he should have stayed in South Africa where 300 people would be in the room. Right? Let me not say exactly what came to my mind, but I'm just going. Number three, be kind and compassionate to yourself. Be kind and compassionate to yourself. We're having Shift conference in Tanzania this year, and I'm hoping to have 500 people in attendance. Because the last time we did, we were about 200 people in Tanzania. So in September, we have it in Tanzania, by the way, in case you know someone there. Number four, start seeing mistakes as stepping stones towards success. It's okay. That's how to deal with this. And finally, stay true to yourself. And honestly, I have to have this part to it, to who God has made you. Just stay true. Don't try to be someone else. Every other thing is improvement. You will learn to speak in a nice way, in a better way. You will learn the better grammar. If it's grammar that is the issue, if it's dressing that is the issue, you can learn how to dress better. You can learn those things, but the only thing you cannot change is who you are. Like they say, be yourself, everyone else is taken. All right, finally, expressions. And we're going to close with this. Expressions is about manifesting your gifts. And Miles Monroe of Blessed Memory said, manifest your gifts. What is the purpose of self-awareness? You build capability, but you're not deploying yourself. So I'm asking you that after today, as you work on your capability, do something with it. Number one, how do you then manifest? How do you express in the best of ways? Number one is weeks. Weeks stand for widely important goals. Number two is the Japanese word called Ikigai. Ikigai is spelled I-K-I. That is reason or purpose of a thing. And Kai, K-A-I, which is pronounced Kai, is living. So that's a reason for being. I'm going to talk about the two quickly. Talking about weeks. So how do you express? If you dabble into everything that comes to your mind today, to say, I'm just going to do everything, you will struggle. How many people have a lot of things happening and nothing is conclusive? It's simply because you haven't applied the weak principle. The weak principle is from the book 4 Disciplines of Execution by the Codis. And what it means is that I love the quotes from James Stewart, one of the authors. He says, to achieve a goal you have never achieved before, you must start doing things you have never done before. So for you to arrive at that place where you master yourself, you have great self-mastery. You're not trying to do everything. You're trying to do what's most important. your weed, your widely important goals. And what are those widely important goals? You're going to examine the abundance of ideas and things you could do. And then you're going to pick one or two that, if done well, will make you. For me, my widely important goals is transforming lives, helping people live better and excellent lives by recognizing, maximizing, and capitalizing on their best strengths. Simple. Not too many. And how do we do that? Speaking, coaching, ministry. Done. The problem is some people then want to be Dangote today. The Dangote has 52 expressions. Right? 52. That's what they want. 52 streams of income. Sorry, not expressions. 52 streams of income. He has only one expression: entrepreneurship. That's the mistake people make. Your expressions can have channels, but you cannot focus on the channel. You start with the expression. So if you're an entrepreneur, start with an entrepreneur. To be an entrepreneur, and then start growing the channels of entrepreneurship, one after the other. Dangote did not have all the 52 today. There was a time when it was only flour and sugar and all those. And if you can think about it, all those elements can be made from the same factory. Now it's delved into other areas. But you see, what we want to do is we want to be a Dangote today. And I use Dangote because it's one that I know that has, and everybody can understand, and people on the line across can know as well. So think about your expression and keep it simple. Max of 2 for a start. Don't try to do too many things. You will be confused as a person. In the book, four disciplines of execution. See, there's a normal life, and there are these things you want to do. The reason you easily drop the things you want to do is because life will always happen. He calls the life whirlwinds. Let me ask you a question. The last time you start your business, does that mean your children will not need breakfast again? They will still go to school? You still have to pay your rent, take care of your car? You still have to do other things that is normal life. You cannot then afford to have too many goals you are chasing. Very soon, the whirlwind will overtake them because your energy is dissipated in too many directions. However, if you have 1 or 2 goals in your life that you are pursuing from a personal growth and self-mastery point of view, it's easier because life will happen, but you still have energy to pursue this. And remember, that goal must be aligned with your strength, because then you have interest in pursuing it. So if you pull everything together, right? Number 2, battles you choose must win the war. It means you have to be very creative in terms of the activities you do. So you can't just do things for the sake of doing things. That is why they tell you that every successful person has a routine. There's something they do. They are very intentional about the activities. Number 3, co-create. You need people to help you. As we listed some people that can help you. Number 4, all weeks must have a finish line. It's an X start by and end by date. That's how to gain self-mastery. That's how to get to where you want to get to in life. That's how beginning and finish life. Any question on week quickly before we go to Ikigai? I know I rushed that because of time, and we have 2 minutes more. Can you give me 5 minutes to go over 1 o'clock?
Sure.
Can I have that?
Sure.
Okay, so I'll go to 1:05. Okay. Any question on this? All right. No question. Great. Then we go to Ikigai. Expression. So, what should you express? So this is why I get people telling me, Harry, should I be doing this business or that business? That's not what this is all about. This is about knowing your sweet spot and knowing what you should be pursuing in life. For me, business is just a channel. As long as it aligns with your expression, it's fine. It's not, you can do anything, really. But if you have to pursue it alone, by yourself, it had better be aligned with your strength. Otherwise, you'll be tired of it. But you can invest in anything, as long as it aligns with your value. So I know people that will not invest in a tobacco company, for instance. I know people that will tell you money is money. I don't care what they use it for. As long as I'm not involved, let me just keep my money. As long as I get return, value. So that's where value comes in. The business you choose to do, however, is commercial. It goes beyond your purpose. It's not just your purpose. It's deeper, and that's where Ikigai comes in. So the business you want to do, that you really want to pursue, or what you want to do with your life, it's important to follow Ikigai. And Ikigai asks 4 questions. It's in your canvas as well. And I mean, if you are familiar with this principle, you've heard about this before, so that's good. Okay. So Ikigai positions 4 questions. Your passion, remember at the beginning I said purpose-driven, profitable passion. Your mission, your vocation, and your profession. What you love, what the world needs from you, what you're good at, and what you can be paid for. Let me tell you where it becomes interesting. And people that think about community support and family and all that, please think about it very well. What you love doing is your passion. What you're good at is your vocation. Now, if you do what you love to do alone, even if you are good at it, you just be broke if nobody's going to pay for it. The problem is you will be great at it, or you'll be frustrated because your needs are not met. If I add a third one, if you're good at it, you're passionate at it, and the world needs it from you, it's great. Because it means whatever you do, there's an off-taker. There's someone that will take it from you, which is great. But you see, the 4th part is very important because not everyone that will take something from you is willing to pay for it. Let me tell you why. If all of a sudden I start a university in the US today, I will be suing, except God calls me at 2 a.m. in the morning, pull my ear, start university, I might not start it. Because, except I have grants in place, or I have people that will pay, and it's a private university, I'm going to struggle. Or, except I'm targeting Africa, so that people can, participate as international students, it's going to be a problem. Not everything people will take from you that they will pay. Not everything. Or they will pay premium for. There are a lot of things now that you can do. Let me give an example. There are some places in Nigeria today, if you organize a session and ask them to pay, they won't pay. Not because they don't like the learning, but because now churches are delved into the area. And churches are now making it available for free. So people ask the question, why should I go and visit Akinola when my pastor was so inviting to come and speak? You hear what I'm saying? So they won't pay. Places like South Africa, the challenge with it is a lot of things are done by the government. So there's some things you will start that people will not come because the government will give it for free. So if they come, why would they pay? Because they will get it tomorrow by the government. So think about it to say, the first 3 parts of the question is, I'm aligning with my passion, with my strength, my purpose. The last part of the question is, do I have the requisite commercial acumen to make it commercially viable for me? That's a different problem. I know that people say that a non-for-profit cannot make money. It's not true. A social enterprise can make the head of the enterprise rich. There's a commercial aspect. And you are going through school, I'm sure they're teaching that the commercial aspect. That's if you notice a lot of the rich people these days, a lot of them, they're now going through social enterprise. Even though that's a wrong intention, but that's okay. They go with the mind of tax savings, charity, so that they call it. So before that used to be CSR, which is corporate social responsibility. It is more of CSI, corporate social investments, because when they put money there, they actually save money here. So that commercial, there's a way you can look at it commercially, that what you're doing right now will make commercial sense. But where I'm going to is the sweet spot, really, is the alignment of your passion, your mission, your vocation, and your profession. Now, you see what is on the screen, as simple as it is. You will not arrive in that middle without the right level of support. That is where you need coaching. Someone to hold your hand, to help you, has the right level of questions for you to arrive right there in the sweet spot. Because if I ask you now, write what you are good at, you write some things. Write what you love, you write some things. Write what the world will pay for, you write some things. Write what the world needs from you, you write some things. How do you match them and find the sweet spot? That's the problem. And I'm telling you that can I brag a little bit? I have found my guide. Let me give you an example. What do I love to do? Impart knowledge, teach, share. What am I capable of? I am trained. For God's sake, I have a PhD in OD, people development. I've been an OD specialist for the last 18, 19 years. What does the world need from me? Knowledge, development. They do, they need it. Every organization is someone that will train their people, don't they? Will they pay for it? Premium. I get paid to do what I'm doing. That's my key. When I go to bed at night, I go to bed thinking, have I impacted my world today? How? By passing the right message along. When I make a post, even if you check my Instagram posts, even if I post a comic, there's always a lesson in it. It is me. What about you? And I'm telling you, I'm done. I'm telling you, it took me a journey to be here. The problem is we always think that it will happen in one session. It does not happen in one session. And I'm saying to people online and people here, I'm willing to walk that journey with you. It took me a one-on-one journey. I attend a lot of sessions like this, but I'm happy to support you on a one-on-one basis. Thank you very much for coming to Shift Masterclass.
Thank you.
Okay, any last question, comments? I've taken 2 extra minutes. There's refreshment at the back. Any comments? Thank you so much, everyone that joined online. We are now officially done. I can turn on the lights at the back. Do you have any question? Okay.
Have a comment.
Comments, please. Let's take the comments. Please feel free to stand up, grab something to eat if you want to. Thank you.
So I'd like to say that you did what you trained yourself to do in a very excellent way. And also thank your wife for being your backbone.
Indeed.
I mean, he's always talking about her social media. Hey, my wife is that. So thank you. So, Mr. Harry, I'm moving from my comment.
Oh, nice that you call him Mr. Harry. You moved from Pastor Harry to Mr. Harry. Good.
So I'm going to move from this.
Can I sit down?
Now. Yes, please.
Please feel free. We can, if you want to leave, you can. There's something to discuss. Yeah. Thank you very much. Can I ask you to please do me a favor? There's a before you go, there's a what do you call it? Sign out sheet. Yeah. There's actually the banner at the end.
Bring it in.
We can bring it in.
I think it fell off.
Sorry.
I saw something.
I think it fell, yeah.
It fell. Oh yeah, it did. Yeah, that's the David. You can if you scan the barcode,
Okay.
it pops the email up. You can just drop an email. If you can drop a testimonial, I will really appreciate it.
First of all, I love this video.
Please, and I thought he was going to say something. We're waiting for him. Please, the venue is good.
This venue.
You talk about the venue.
I said, first of all, I love this venue.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you
You
so
run
much.
this place?
Yeah, I run this.
Oh my God, this is
Yeah.
a beautiful place.
See something that's
Very nice. It's a non-for-profit and we opened in 2019. It's just an idea. For me, people
Sorry.
love the place when you come in, but for me, yes, it's an idea that can transform life and change communities. So it's a place of our own. It's a place that is, so we do things. It's an educative hub and it's a cultural hub. Educative in a sense, bringing a masterclass, imparting knowledge. And it's a cultural place because we want to be reminded about our history. You know, our story didn't start with slavery. We have some great kingdom in Africa before slavery. And just a place to, you know, to take you home even when you're not home. So that's the whole idea. But yeah, join us. I mean, we have program after programs, you know, educative program, focusing program. Please, I will add you to our emails. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sahari.
Thank you so much. All right, let's continue.
Yeah, we've all heard Mr. Harry talk of his successes, his failures, and of course, one day he has a family. So I'd like to ask, what has been your staying power? That's the first part of the question. What has been your staying power? And the second part of the question is, so what advice would you give to someone looking to transition into what you do?
Okay, two things for the transition, but for the staying power, honestly, I can easily say it's God, but it's not just God. I think it's easy when something is your strength. It draws you by itself. I think people overbeat what they think calling is all about. They think calling is just something you hear God say. God has placed that calling in all of us, I believe. And sometimes it's not something you need to discover, not something you need to hear. And it's right inside of you. I think this being my strength has really helped me to keep coming back to it. My wife is saying, I will try to do other things. I'll come back. It's like having something stuck to the ground. And it's like a spring that you pull it, it goes back and forth, back and forth. Eventually, it comes back to that point. That has been my journey. I've always come back to this spot. So I said that's my staying power because it's my strength. Then the second question about
Someone looking to
transition. I will say everything I've said again in a very simple way. First of all, fine, is it yours? Is it something you just like? See, the public speaking world is vast. So I always ask me, what about it do you like? So if you take a step back to the 3 M's, okay, I said it to people yesterday. The first M stands for message. The second one stands for messenger. The third one stands for medium. What is your message? You are a messenger. What is your message? Then you need to find out what medium are you most comfortable with to disseminate your message. For me, it is speaking and training. For other people, it could be singing. For me, it is coaching. For other people, it could be acting it out or something like that. Now, if we find all that and it aligns with what I'm doing, that's it. What you need to do is to learn how to speak. I think the next session we're going to have is public speaking, by the way. Is to learn how to speak. Is learn how to pass the message across. Is learn how to train. There's a science to all these things. The way, if you look at the way I designed the flow, the stories, many other people that can speak will have a slide, but you will not feel the story. The flow, ACE, how do you develop a canvas? These are then skills you then have to support your speaking, right? Which you don't build overnight as well. But if you have set in your mind that this is a channel you want to go, whether this is a channel you want to go or not, I'll tell you, the shortcut is getting a coach. Not also because I'm selling myself, by the way. But the shortcut is to get a coach. Shortcut.
And we're taking applications right now. I'm the PA right now.
Use yourself. All easy.
We're taking applications
Right now.
Coach. One-on-one.
Yeah. I also have a coach, by the way.
Do I have your permission to be the PA? He has to choose. As many as ever.
Exactly. It's never about
Go ahead. So brief your application. Go ahead. I don't know.
Hello, sir.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. So please let's know that we can talk about that. But I want to do more coaching, more the training next. In fact, the next month one or the next month is public speaking, focusing on it to ensure that more people can speak. Coaching will be any direction you want. By the way, it's whatever you want to achieve as a goal. But for me, I have found coaching a shortcut because coaching is a profession. It's very unique. People, everybody calls themselves a coach. I know pastors now will say pastor or coach. It's not true. Coaching is a discipline. So it's not something I just stumbled across. I'm like I said, a qualified NLP coach and a qualified business coach. Now, it's not a business coach like I coach you for businesses. It's organization development and qualified executive coach. So all the things that go into that's what I do. So the difference with people, they talk coaching to training. Coaching is not training. There are two different things. Coaching is not consulting. Coaching is not counseling. Coaching is not advisory. What a lot of people do is advisory. You speak to them and they keep advising you. No. Coaching is predicated on questioning. We had a session yesterday, a brief session yesterday. It's the quality of the question we ask to help you introspect and you come up with a solution. Then when I'm changing my gap, if I'm changing the art to a consultant act, I'll tell you I'm trying to consult now, or I'm trying to advise you now, and I'm trying to give you a counsel now, and I'll ask you permission to do that. But it's very powerful. So if you opt for it, that would be great.
So some information on this website.
Yeah, just send the barcode. Just scan the barcode and come back to me. And then I tell people it's pays to do like a 6-session minimum for a start. 6 sessions can be spread over 6 weeks, depending on the intensity of what you want to do, or even longer than that, if possible, or even shorter. I know people that say they want it like multiple sessions in a week. I counsel against that because there are a lot of things you need to do in between. So ideally, it's best to have a week in between so that whatever it is we do, you can have time to go practice. Then we come back and debrief it and do all that.
How many minutes in a session?
60 minutes.
So there's certificate.
Coaching, no? If you want a certificate, see, the certificate is transformed life. And this is not bragging. I haven't coached anybody that hasn't shifted. In fact, if you will not shift, we'll stop it. I will know, and I will stop it.
Because I was having a conversation with Pastor Bayo, and he has always bragged of how meeting you has really changed his way of thinking. And sometimes when I sit down to speak with him, you see how he's throwing out the words and like.
Yeah. So it's very important, and I tell you, I have my coach. I go to. We have conversations. We unpack things. We look at things. And there are things I want to achieve as well. We unpack things. It's a profession. It's something like that. But if you came, I'll say think about 6 sessions. A session for an executive is $300 per session. An executive is someone at a VP upward level in the organization. A session for someone that owns their own business or younger than or junior than a VP will be between $150 and $200. A session for every other person is $100 a session. That's my hour. My hour is worth more than $100.
Can you repeat that, sir?
Okay, hour.
Yeah, repeat that.
Okay, VP upwards is $300.
6 sessions, 60 minutes for every session from the executive, business, and other. I
like the way she's putting the house stuff.
Yeah.
But most people do the 100 one. The company I'm doing for, the one I told you about, we do the $200 for them per hour, per session. And
we stop this?
We can stop it now. Thank you so much, everyone that joined online. People are already leaving anyway. Let's end broadcast, right?
End broadcast.